This is Craftmatic with another fantastic idea about money. We've all seen, potentially have read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Bestseller, 23 million copies, maybe 100 million copies, something extreme. A lot of people are understanding the idea. My question to you tonight is, are you thinking of prosperity? I want you to take an assessment of how you think about money. Do you think positive about money? Do you think negative about money? Do you think small? Do you think big? I want you to just assess your own thinking as it relates to money and prosperity. Where is your mindset at? I would also challenge you a little bit to ask yourself the question, how often am I thinking about the prosperity that I really want to create? Most of us don't have the magic number in our minds. I want you to answer the question, how much money does it take for me to be and feel successful? How much money is that? Now we'll start training you and developing you on the way to keep those thoughts fresh and pure and whole, and the way to use those thoughts to create your prosperity in life. But do you even know what you want to achieve when it comes to money? Are you thinking and growing rich? There are many of you who have significant potential, significant financial potential, but you have maybe a bad attitude about money, maybe a bad attitude about prosperity. And it's okay, because we've learned a lot of bad stuff in our years. So now we've got to fix it. And the way we fix it is to begin to assess where we are. Again, here's A, here's B. Let's identify what B is in our lives today. I need $50,000 a year to be happy and to be financially free. I need $2 million a year to make my grade. Whatever you decide is ultimately going to be your reality, but if you're not thinking about it, it's most certainly not going to happen. This Craftmatic just encouraging you to think more positive about money and prosperity.
Time to be alive. We'll be right for a minute so I'll figure this out. Go back, see how that sounds. Ooh, buddy. Hey man, I did it took a long time, man. Just playing around right now. Do a little test run. Ain't nobody watch me right now, no way, but might matter, it might not. All right, we finna get this thing popping here in a minute, man. If you decided to watch at this point, you a trooper. But we just out here testing a few things. But if you like the vibe, man, just stick around. I'm gonna make a little announcement here in a little bit, just to make some things official. Let me see. Whoa. Looking dusty in this motherfucker. Hold on. Oh, that's a little bit better right there. Let's see. All right. You know, I like to do stuff when ain't nobody watching. It's just a lot easier that way. No time for criticism. I'm not gonna lie. I'm building this thing from the scratch, man. All right. You know, I'm gonna put another track on. Put a beat on something. Put a beat on like the boys say. What's the name? Freeway. Put a beat on beat. Find me something with a little length. Be on that DJ shit, bro. You know what? This a ride right here. All right. So the reason I had to go live and talk a little bit, for one, I wanted to test out all these new different platforms, trying to see how everything is working, because every time I leave social media, I leave the podcast game for a little bit, everything changes. So I had to make some changes myself, which is why right now I'm on mostly of my brand accounts, but I'm also on a couple of my personals. But to get to the point, anybody who's out there, y'all fool with the rundown, y'all fool with me, CL Palmer, CL Pie Game, CL the main event, this, that, and the other. Even if you had came through from marketing for the culture, Mad Cat Movie Review. Shout out to my boy Sean and Derek. I gotta get up with y'all, man. If y'all catch Sean and Derek, y'all come through and holler at me. We need to get that back on track. I kind of miss y'all, bro. No lie. But get to the point, man. Start a new company. It's called Podtacts, and Podtacts is the new wave, man. As you can see, I'm repping all day. Y'all tell me how I sound. But the reason I had to make the switch is because somebody like me who's kind of a brand manager, I had to kind of step into their role. Sometimes when you start doing things, you don't figure out the skills that you end up building up. But starting a podcast allowed me to build my skills as a brand creator and as a brand manager, because I learned some things that that are important to other people and would also allow them to reach their goals. So that's where I'm coming in right now, just trying to start a brand new vision for everything podcast related. So as of today, the rundown will officially become Podtacts. Now I know the rundown has kind of been on hiatus. I mean, we'll say kind of, it has been on a hiatus. Like straight up, like everybody knows, anybody that fooled with the rundown knows it's been on hiatus. So it's coming back, but it's gonna come back with a brand new spin, and hopefully I can get a homie of mine to help me resuscitate it. We're going to talk about that at another day, at another time. And I'm not dropping no names right now. Just know it'll be something big when I do it. But I am going to be bringing the full-time podcasting with OG in some form. It might become a part of my new series, which will be premiering on the Podtacts network. It's called Watch the Growth. I have not officially announced Watch the Growth, but this is my time to officially announce it. It's going to be a podcast that I want everybody who has any interest in business, marketing, or podcasting. Those are going to be my three things. And then I'm going to do some mindset things. So I'm gonna hit all four because they're all related. You can't have one without the other. We can't talk business without having mindset. We can't talk podcasting without talking marketing. You can't talk podcast without talking business, and you can't talk none of it without talking mindset. So, with that said, when y'all see Watch the Growth, you're going to see all of those worlds come together. You're also going to see me collaborating with the homie Craft. Y'all might know Stacy Craft from Bar Talk with Jay. We're going to be working on a Minecraft podcast, and I am very excited about that. It's nothing but mindfulness, nothing but gems for every day. You know, we dropped some clips, some videos. I don't think people are really, caught on to it, but I think when we hit chapter 2, y'all really gonna see some growth with that. But I want y'all to stay tuned for that podcast because that's really gonna be key. That's also coming to Podtacts. Let me see. There's a few other things that I'm working on, but I just can't talk about them right now. Just know Podtacts is gonna be the new wave. So if you go to at the Rundown South, it'll officially become at the Podtacts Network. I do not want to get anyone excited about anything until I'm able to be consistent about it. So I know nobody's watching this right now, which is great. So it gives me a good chance to confidently do the thing, get out my comfort zone, and really get out here and ramble and see if I can hold it up. So I'm gonna take a little break real quick. I'm gonna throw a little instrumental on. Hey. You like taking this bitch. Give them both. I mean, really though, I could have a variety show. I come at y'all spitting. Guess what? Get the most, got the less up. Tell them boys got the bless up. Tell them they don't want to check us. We be in the paint. They be in the bank. Nope. They ain't with us. We be in the office. They be talking to them tellers. We ain't coming with them fellas. I knock them out quick, bruh. I'm hit, yeah. I be coming like hit, boy. I changed the game up. I changed the frame up. Now you want to get it right, change the name up. Coming Podtacular. Y'all niggas trying to find me when I'm vernacular, because I be killing shit. Let me stop, bruh. This ain't even what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Oh, man. But, on some real shit, though, bruh. Let me cut that bit down, bruh. I just slid like my song though, bro. Shout out to that boy Russ, man. Use a spitter, bro. Use a spitter, Russ. Real quick though. So like, I want to talk to the podcasters. I'm gonna turn it a little down. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit more. It's like I want to vibe to it, but I gotta turn it down so y'all can hit me, bro. I don't want to get nothing misconstrued, misunderstood, none of that. You know what I'm talking about? You figured it on me. But I might have to go ahead and do a little podcast segment. I don't want to just be freestyling. So peep this out. So I have come across a lot of different podcast groups, especially on Facebook. Shout out to everybody doing the Facebook group around podcasting. I wish I would tighten up on y'all promo rules. Let's get a little bit more discussions in some of these things, man. A little bit less more promo, man. Y'all really be killing me out here, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. But one of the things that I could say, and I guess we're gonna do like a little impromptu fake mailbag with CL. Nobody's watching, nobody sent any mail, but we're gonna do a fake mailbag. How about that? So, first question from the mailbag. Hey CL, I've been podcasting for a year. I haven't seen a lot of growth. I've only had 300 listeners almost every episode since the 15th one. What should I do? Well, for one, you should thank God you have 300 listeners that are coming consistently. I'm going to tell you right now, that is one of the best things you could ever have. Having consistent downloads at a consistent number tells you that you have a following and these people are coming to you week in, week out, monthly, however you drop. They're coming. So keep that up. Whatever you're doing, keep that up. Next thing I'm going to say to that. Who is your audience? Do you know who your audience is? Now, anybody who knows anything about podcasting knows the data is not great. But if they're listening and they're downloading, you have an opportunity to ask for data. Make a survey. Announce it on your podcast. Put it in the show notes. Put it on your website. Put it on your social media. And get some information about your listeners. Find out what they like about your show. Maybe you're doing two things that they really like, and it might need to be your entire show. I'm just saying. Other than that, you need to start thinking about where your potential audience is and make sure when you go looking for your audience that you're catering to that audience on whatever particular platform that you're on. Because I see a lot of podcasters out here that go on all these different social media platforms. They share their podcasts, they share their podcasts, they share their podcasts, but they don't really build value around the content that they're sharing. It's like a picture. It's my podcast. It's episode 36, and here's an audiogram. Rocka, 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 rocka. What is? I mean, come on. Like, I'm on Instagram because I want to watch a video, not because I want to listen to an audiogram or watch an audiogram. It's not the same thing. So I know, unfortunately, not every podcast is video, but I'm just going to tell you right now, if you haven't started, you need to go ahead and get there. Straight up. What's the next thing? And then, let me say this. When it comes to promoting your podcast, finding what makes it valuable and using the techniques for the particular platforms. I don't really want to talk about just Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, because I feel like these strategies are agnostic because you need to find the particular method that each individual base goes for. And then another thing you need to make sure is y'all going to the right places. I don't think everybody be going in the right places. I really don't. I'm going to just say that right now. A lot of y'all be out here doing the most on Instagram, and your entire fan base is really on Twitter. Your entire fan base is really on LinkedIn. But you're doubling and tripling down on TikTok and Instagram because that's where everyone is. But I'm telling you right now, if you really want to succeed in moving your podcast, you need to cater to your audience. That's the only way to get growth. If you have anything that's been proven that people will listen, you need to keep going and you need to find out why it's valuable to them. All right. Next fake mailbag question. Yo, CL, what's the most important thing to being a good podcast host? I'm so glad you asked that. So I'm going to take this from a podcast listening standpoint. I don't want to talk as somebody who's on the microphone because you obviously can see that I'm on the microphone and I'm also not perfect. So here is what you're going to need to do. Number one, you need to sound interesting. What 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 do you mean? See, what do you mean? Be interesting. Who has time to do that? Like we're trying to make a show right now. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. If you can't get on the podcast and do some things with some inflections, do something with your voice, be a little funny, and not just so much ramble, you got to give it some flair. Because I know a lot of people out here giving some good information, but they ain't got enough flair. And I think y'all need to go and listen to talk radio. Don't listen to podcasters. Listen to talk radio. If you want to know how to talk by yourself, listen to talk radio. I give you two podcasts, but both of these people come from talk radio. But I'm gonna tell you how I get mine down. Colin Cowherd and Bomani Jones. Some of the only people I know can hold a conversation by themselves. This is something I'm attempting to do right now, something that I don't do all the time. But I felt like doing it right now because it's important that I try to do this and I make myself do it. But that is the first part. Number two, be prepared. Do the prep work. I'm going to tell you right now, there are so many podcasts that I have done and I have listened to where I can tell that the hosts and no one in the podcast has any idea what they're supposed to be doing, when to get out of a subject, or when to end the show. I mean, come on, folks. Come on, folks. Come on. Come on. I mean, come on. End the show. Get the show over with. Make your point and get the hell on. Carry the hell on. Man, for real though. Carry the hell on. Make your point and get out of there. Podcast hosts, if you have a guest that's rambling, oh man, hold on, man. That's a great point. Let me tell you, let me say something to that, and then I want to ask you about something else. It's like the equivalent of saying, I'm sorry you're talking too much, but I really need to talk to you about something else. What you're saying was very interesting, but I think this is more interesting that I'm about to go to. And it's been 15 minutes since I came back on the mic. So yeah, do some prep work, get your notes together, make your points, and get in and out of there. Third thing, don't try to be perfect. Don't fight the your nose in the lights. Be mindful of it, but be interesting and prepared. And number three will take care of itself. You'll be surprised how many ums and likes you won't have if you already know what you're going to say. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I'm just giving facts. So, I mean, it's really just two things. If I want to be honest with you, it's really just two things. And I'm looking at both cameras and I'm looking at Instagram. Shout out to Instagram. Nigga looking good on the iPhone. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyway. Shout out to all the cocky podcast hosts. You know who you are. I'm not going to name names. You know who you are. Cocky podcast hosts. Anywho, again, you want to be a better podcast host? A couple things you need to do. Number one, I'm gonna go in real order. Couple things you need to do to be a good podcast host. Number one, be prepared. Be prepared. Number two, be interesting. I will listen to your podcast if you sound interesting. And number three, don't worry about perfection. This is on you. Just try hard enough and be as prepared as possible, and you'll be as perfect as possible. Honest to God's truth. If you listen to any of my podcasts, it's very apparent which ones I'm prepared for and which ones I'm not. I'm just saying, bro. Sometimes I'm real good at that freestyle, bro, because I'm sick on the mic. Y'all see me try to do a little song, but I wasn't with it tonight. I ain't got the juice tonight. But I'm glad y'all riding with me. It's a nice little test, nice little thing to get my feet wet because nobody's watching it late at night. And it's going to be on all platforms. So y'all just look out for Podtacts, man. We about to hit the scene. Look out for Watch the Growth, the Untitled Minecraft podcast, the Rundown, all coming to you soon from the Podtacts Network. Thank you for listening. Y'all be blessed. Peace.